All right, Gibson Girl, Ethel Cain, let's get right into it. You want to match the tone. I think that's the first thing we have to take care of is matching the tone if you want to do the lead and solo stuff, the intro as well. I think the missing piece, what I found, you want a dirtier tone, but I'm using the Spark amp so you can see it on my phone. But the chorus, I think you want to have chorus in the song in this tone because I think that really unlocks it. Obviously with all the other dirty stuff going on with the reverb and all that good stuff. This is a good song to kind of fake until you make it, especially in the intro where you're just kind of hanging on these 5 and 7s of the G string and the D string, and then you're just working your way down to that A string, that open A right there. But there's a lot of different resources on this tab because we're going to have some TikTok people, wonderful people doing this cover of the intro and the solo, and then there's a full tab made out on songster.com, which I will link in the description along with everything else, which you can pretty much follow along for the intro and the solo. It's pretty reliable, I think, if you want everything on one page, but we'll talk about some differences and some good stuff that these people have going on here. Obviously, you know, everything is done with phrasing. You can have all this stuff that I tabbed out and probably wasted time, you know, copying the tab into Guitar Pro because really you want to be able to read it while you're playing it in phrasings, you know. Obviously, you're just not randomly going like this, right? You want to slow down and watch what they have going on here while the tab is going on. So I'm going to play this in the background by myself, but we talked about that intro there, with that awesome intro where you're bending on the 7th to that 9 on the G string. So yeah, let's kind of go through what they have here. Please check out these videos because they're awesome and good stuff. But like I said, a lot of 5 7s on the D and the D string, a lot of hammer-ons, a lot of slides. And you know, this line right here is going to be quick in some ways, but you just got to match it up to the song. And I think that's always the hardest part, obviously, is matching it up to the song and knowing where it is. After that phrase there, it's going to go up to this 12th fret of that G string. Again, you want to bend up, and you want to hit that 14 of that G string after that bend, back to that 12, and then the 2nd string, the B string, 10 to 12, is that little phrase right there. And then they have this slide down, and then all this good stuff here. Like I said, you know, they have it on the screen on their tab as 5th fret 6th string. So it's give you the same note of that open that we just kind of fooled around with and eventually got there. The song will get there. Like I said, you can just fake it till you make it and just walk your way down. Oops. Walk your way down to that open A. I will talk about the chords. I won't really talk about the solo too much, but at the tail end of it here, you can see this guy will land on this 10th fret here. He, obviously a great video, which I will share in the description, but he has the same thing that Songster has, so there's going to be some overlaps as well. Going to be some differences, but I think, like I said, if you want everything on one page, check out songster.com. But you're going to have this... at the tail end of the solo here, this 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 on the 2nd string, the B string, working our way up to the 12th. And he has this really cool stuff here at the tail end of it here with that bending of the 15th fret of the B string and then hitting the 12th fret of the high E string. But there's a little bit more that he didn't cover in his video, which is on Songster. So that's why I kind of recommend Songster a little bit more, because it's all on one page, like I said. But they have this cool stuff at the end. You can hear the guitar doing all the way up to the 19th fret, actually. And the 17th and the 15th. But I want to talk about these chords, so I will just switch tones very quickly and get a cleaner tone. We'll talk about the chords. Alright, the chord progression is actually pretty easy. There's only a couple chords that we're going to have to talk about, and that's going to be an A minor. Yes, I have an A minor, because it includes that C note that we're hitting so much on the lead stuff. We're going to have a G, and then a D. So the chord progression is going to be this A minor, G, D, back to the A minor. But obviously when it comes back around, you just stick on it again. You know, use the drums in the background to get your strumming strokes down. And a lot of times too, especially in the beginning of the lines of this A minor, I was grabbing my pinky of the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. I think that sounds kind of cool sometimes. this is going to be the chord progression all the way through. And that A minor has that little darker to it as well. But I think that's pretty much it. You know, this is going at about 6 minutes, but, you know, hopefully it helped out and it all made sense in the end. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So there it goes.